Hey guys, welcome to the review show. I'm here with Ren once again for Stranger Things season 4. Um, and we're going to be talking about volume 1 and volume 2. Do you want to talk about spoilers or non-spoilers?
That's a good question. I think we should have spoilers.
Okay, so we're going to have spoilers in this review, and we'll go from there. So overall, I like some of the season. I think it's better than I think yeah, season 3. I didn't really enjoy season 3 that much. Season 2 was fine. I think it's enjoyable. Besides that one episode where 11 goes off on her own and finds her sisters and brothers, whatever. And season 1, obviously the best one. And so, what's you want to start out with positives or negatives? I don't know. It's kind of hard.
Of this season?
Yeah.
Let's start out with the positives, Austin. That's
Okay.
something I think we both need to work on too.
Uh, Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, it's so easy to fall into the negative category and just not. But I think let's start with the acting. I think the acting is really good. The only one that I think doesn't really hold up too well, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate from teenage girls, is that 11 is not more Margot Robbie. It's not Margot Robbie. No, that's a great
Really, Bobby
actress.
Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown. Margot Robbie is a great actress. Her and positives. We'll talk about that later. Uh, There's a new character in this season.
Eddie.
Eddie. I really liked Eddie, and I just I think he brought so much light to the season, and that he's a little bit quirky, a little bit different. I was like, all right, this is cool. This is a cool character, and he's kind of like learning everything, and it's like a little bit of a refresher, and it's nice. I do kind of like that the team, the original cast is sort of split up. So Mike goes off to California to meet 11 with Will and what's his brother's name?
Oh, Jonathan.
Jonathan. Yeah. The, so their side of the story is kind of a little bit weak, but it's like, all right, we got to, if we split up this team, there will be a little bit more tension, and there kind of is because now Steve, Nancy, Lucas, and I'm forgetting two. Oh wait, no, there's Max and
Dustin.
And what's the other
Lucas.
chick? What's the other chick?
Max.
The older chick woman, the Steve friend chick. There's so many characters. Robin. Yeah. There's so many characters, and it's like it should be easy to kill someone off, but they don't. They only kill off Eddie. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah. I think they all do a great job. I think Steve is the best character from the original cast. I think he's the only character that I thought was going to die because
I have gripes about that too, which we will get to, I'm sure.
Probably. And so it's kind of, and it's there. He was kind of set up that he was going to have some like a big like hero moment, and he's kind of the only one that has a character arc throughout this whole entire show. He starts off as a jerk. In season 2, he's like, he's a little bit better. He's kind of still not like a responsible person. He's not comfortable being around the kids kind of still. Season 3, he's, he's getting a little bit more comfortable. He's kind of still annoyed. And now season 4, he's got kind of being like a full on, responsible person. He's really likable. Like Steve is, I just like Steve. And plus I really like the actor. And so.
Oh, do you?
I think he's a really good actor. I liked him in Free Guy. And so, but yeah, I think that's the most, the practical effects, really awesome. I think the set designs and everything was really good. I liked how they used practical makeup on Victa. I think it's, and so it's not CGI. I don't know why this popped up. Hold on. Okay, there. So there's a bunch of good stuff. I do like the storyline with where they're in the town, and whenever it's like actually being a horror. But that's pretty much all the good stuff I have. I mean, oh, we do have um Hopper and Joyce, which is actually the actress from Beetlejuice, which I never knew that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, but honestly, I thought their story point was the weakest. But um, but yeah, that's pretty much all the good things I have to say. I don't know.
Yeah. I will say I have a lot of negatives, which I think we'll get to. But honestly, I think it might be one of the weakest seasons. I'm debating. I might need to rewatch Stranger Things, but I'm debating whether or not this is actually even better than season three, and that might be kind of a wild thing to say because I know season three was the weakest, and a lot of people didn't enjoy it as much.
I don't remember what I gave it, but my
Yeah,
rating definitely changed on it.
but I do appreciate how they're reincorporating the upside down because I remember season three, they never even showed the upside down. They showed it twice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they kind of like lost sight and kind of got, sucked into this whole like Russians are trying to use the portal, which was a horrible plot. And I think that in this season, they're kind of dealing with repercussions of doing that and
It's
how
like it's like we have to, like, we set this up, so now we kind of have to finish it, but
exactly.
we don't have to have it the main focus point, which I believe that they were going to have it as the main focus point, but then they kind of changed it because Vecna, he's kind of like the last big villain. Yeah, they kind of set him up as the last big villain, so it's like I think they were going to save him for season 5, but they couldn't really do that because not a lot of people like the Russians, so it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do think that the Russian plot wasn't bad this season.
It wasn't
Actually
that
enjoyed it.
it wasn't that bad, but there was definitely moments, and I'm like, I don't care. And no joke, I fast forward through a couple of moments.
Really.
I was
And
like, I was getting bored. I was like, this is like, I don't know if because how long the episodes were, which I did like. I did like how long the episodes were. It's kind of funny that Disney won't do that, but Netflix releases all their episodes at once. Like, yeah, we'll make them like 2 hours long. It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, I will say that I think I hear you. There were some moments in the Russian plot that, did drag on. But I do think it's interesting how that plot that was extremely weak in the first season and they relied heavily on it became like the MVP team. And I do think that, Hopper, Joyce, became the MVPs of that final finale, which I'm sure we'll talk about. And definitely clutched up. And that was an awesome scene. But
I wish their build up to Hopper being alive was a little bit better, because Hopper,
oh,
I like, he's like, oh, he was just down there. You guys didn't go look that he just fell.
on the ground.
Yeah. And by the way,
Well,
I think they were using, because the way that they were shooting that looked awful. Like, it looked like a green screen behind him. I'm like, did you just have him stand up and not just have him lay on the ground or something? Like, I don't know,
yeah,
because it looked off. I was like, that was terrible way.
yeah. But I do think that, they handled that very well. It was awesome to see the Demogorgon again in, full grown. I think some of those fight scenes, especially that finale fight scene, Hopper versus
Where did
Demogorgon.
that sword come from, by the way? I was
I
like,
mean, it
where
was
did
just
that
like,
come? I was like, where did that come from?
I mean, remember before
Is
the
it?
Demogorgon broke out
Yeah, they had a.
gladiator
Yeah,
arena, so it would make sense that there's some weapons lying around.
I guess, but it's kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, wait,
Yeah, that's what Evan said too when we were watching it.
but I'm trying. Okay, what do you think about the high school bully? I
What
was
was his
like,
um
I, I like
Danny? No,
like
I'll look up his name.
like, well, there was also that one, but 11 was getting bullied during well, in school. I was like, this is kind of odd thing to have here, and honestly I was laughing. I was like, I'm like, it's supposed to be cheesy, but I'm like, this is dumb cheesy. Like, this isn't like good at all. This is like blue cheese, and I probably insulted someone that really likes blue cheese.
Blue.
But
This is like Gorgonzola dog.
I don't know. I'm like, why is this even here? Because it goes absolutely nowhere. Like, it's put because she gets arrested, but immediately it's like breaks out, and X goes to, it's like, all right, we need you to train and get your powers back. And so I'm like, what was the whole point of that subplot? It made no
Yeah.
sense.
No, yeah. 11 side plot was extremely annoying and did drag on, especially when she went into
Oh,
the simulation. And you're just like, oh my gosh.
oh, I
But
also fall
obviously,
I also fast forwarded to that besides the parts that actually meant something. And so
yeah,
it's like,
which is honestly why I think this is weaker than season 3 because there's so much screen time in this season. And a lot of it, like you said, you fast forward through. So that's why I think season 1 and 2 are the gold standard because yeah, those
yeah.
episodes were long, but it
Mhm.
was every scene was critical and none of it was filler, which a lot of this did feel like, I will say.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, like, I do enjoy this season, but it's like I think what makes it all fall apart is those final 2 episodes. And I think that's really hitting for me. Like, I do enjoy it, and I haven't watched the other seasons in so long. Like, I still love the first one, but I don't know my placement of season 2 or 3 because I just like have no interest going back and watching them. And
mhm.
so so then that makes kind of like season 4 so easy to like praise for. It's like, all right, yeah, this is good.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, a lot of people do forget how amazing season 1 and 2 were. Amazing.
I
Um,
yeah.
and I will say, last thing I'll say before we get into some of the negatives is Stranger Things was originally supposed to be kind of like,
One story things.
yeah,
Hmm.
supposed to be kind of like the Twilight Zone or
There's
that
this
detective, True
there
Detective.
there's a this game called Untold Stories. And so it's like,
Oh yeah.
and like you kind of play through like you're like on this computer thing, and they all connect, and like it's kind of parody Stranger Things in its intro, but they're basically their own kind of story, and it's like, all right, this is kind of cool. And so I think that's I I don't know. I think I'm fine with them, if they wanted to like all connect this together. I just don't think they pulled it off well. I did like that Vigna was basically there from the beginning. I do like that.
Yeah. But you could definitely tell watching that finale, the finale of episode 7, where he's basically spoilers explaining, you sent me to the upside down, became Vecna. And then the finale, the climactic moment in the final episode where he's basically explaining, his connection to the Demogorgon, his connection to the Mind Flayer. I did feel like, okay, I'm not so sure they had a roadmap and had this planned out since the first season, clearly, because it was supposed to just be a one-off where each season was a totally different cast, totally different plot, totally different story. Where it felt like that moment where he was expediting and sharing a lot of exposition felt like, okay, like it's cool that they can kind of make those comparisons and like, oh no, it was actually Vecna. But I could kind of see through that and be like, I know what's happening. You
Mm-hmm.
told a story that caught on. You wanted to keep the cast, but you got to keep it going with new characters, new villains, greater threats to keep people interested. But you want to keep it tied together and show that, hey, this was a set vision the whole time. I didn't buy it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, for sure. And so I'm trying I really don't know. Where do you want to start? Like,
With the negatives,
are we done with the positives? Is that it?
possibly. Does Clint have some positives to add?
Oh, I just really the positives, a lot better than season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, probably for your
Here, he's gonna sub.
uh a lot a lot better than season 3 in my opinion. At least with the
You could
overall
turn off the
direction.
green screen if you need it.
I
Uh,
like this.
I liked how they actually had a legitimate villain this time. I think that's something that Stranger Things was really needing, especially after season 3, because in season 3, what I thought they were gonna do is that the Mind Flayer was gonna talk through Billy and he was gonna be the villain. But obviously they didn't.
I think they're still setting that up a
No,
little
I
bit.
think they're. I think
No,
they're
it's all back
yeah,
now.
I
Oh
think
no,
they.
I meant with Will.
No, oh, that's true. Okay, but anyways,
Sorry.
I was really happy they had someone like Vecna,
Mhm.
and it was just a really good villain, and it felt real, like a real villain. And then
because
also
it's actually someone that we can
yeah,
talk to and learn things from.
and a really good backstory for him too. Is a really good villain backstory. It was a really good tie around with everything with the house and everything that happened in the 50s. I thought was really good. I thought Lucas was honestly the best he's ever been in the series in this season.
I kind of got annoyed with him at the beginning, but then I was like, all right, you're fine. But
yeah, but overall, and I loved Eddie. I thought Eddie was a great character. I thought Eddie was an amazing character. Those are all of my positives pretty much going in, and it looked great. Obviously, Stranger Things always looks great.
Yeah. And so I'm just yeah, I think you pointed out everything perfectly. I'm just kind of curious, like what are they going to do for the next season? Like how, because they clearly open it up where it's like, all right, now the underworld's going to come here.
Yeah,
And so it's like, but like there's so much still other stuff open, like, and not like closed off, like the Russian story that's still sort, I mean, like, unless they're like, yeah, that's completely done, but I feel like
I think that's completely done. I don't think there's really much they can do with that. And I think I would be disappointed if they would try to do something else with that. I think what the main focus is going to be and what needs to be is like hell has overtaken Hawkins. Yeah. Hell has overtaken Hawkins, and the group has to find a way to close up the portal and stop Henry Vecna /1.
And there's the town like now thinking that Hellfire is a like satanic. I'm like, this is stupid.
I thought that was stupid that they believed fake Larry Bird and all that crap
and
when
like,
all the parents know.
I don't like it doesn't go anywhere. Literally literally that kid dies when the portal when the things start opening. Like you see him get like split in half. I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool.
That's epic. Like, that was awesome. I love that.
Like, but you make this whole entire storyline pointless. Like,
yeah. And it's not gonna, and if anything, I just really think that didn't really go anywhere, and maybe they will have something to do with it in the next season, but I don't think they will. But it's just gonna be curious to see how everything is gonna play out with 11 and 11 having to obviously close up the portal and then kill Henry once and for all.
I just want someone to die.
Yeah, I really do want someone to die who's not a safe death, because we've just been introduced to them.
Like, we clearly now know that Max isn't going to be dead because like she's like in a coma, and it's like if she dies in the next season, it's like, what's the whole point of putting her in a coma then?
Yeah, because fucking 11 put her used force.
She has the force. I don't know that if anyone's going to die, it needs to be 11. One of my original predictions was that
I was disappointed she didn't die.
Yeah, one of my 11.
Yeah,
I don't think she
should die in the final season. But what I had thought would happen was that she was going to get trapped. She would have to sacrifice herself to close the Upside Down, which is probably going to happen next season. But
then that opens up a season 6 to save her.
I mean, no, that was literally the plot. That was the finale to season 1, though, Clint.
Oh yeah, that is true. But no,
that's why.
That's
why I think season 1 and 2 had such higher stakes.
Actually, well, in season 2, you find out that when she was in there, she came out. She
was summoned to the Upside Down, but then found her way back.
Yeah.
But are we talking about the finale now?
I mean, like, we can talk about whatever. So, I mean, like, I'm trying to think of. I would say that Steve and Nancy would now be a better couple than Jonathan and. I don't like John. I mean, at first I did like Jonathan, but his character went nowhere. His character literally went nowhere. So it's like,
I did love the scene between him and Will, where it's so obvious that Will wants to come out, but just feels cornered.
Why has Will been so emotional this season? Like, it was never explained why he was.
Oh, he has the hots for Mike.
Is that
he wants to make out with Mike? Yeah. It's 100%.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case.
It definitely is.
I think he just feels like his friends are like, because he was trapped in the underworld. It feels like he lost a part of being with his friends or something on those lines.
Maybe.
But
Um,
if it's because he's like, I might be gay, I might be attracted to Mike, it wouldn't really make any sense. I mean, like
I personally,
if it, I mean,
that scene,
it does happen in the real world, but as for this show, it just wouldn't make any sense for a storyline.
you're right, it wouldn't. But based on, the scene where they're in the back of the bus and he's telling him that 11 needs you, and then starts crying and looking outside of the window, you're like, okay, was he talking about 11 or was he talking about himself? Maybe he was just saying, like, I need you as a friend because I'm so lonely.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was saying. I think it was a little bit more passionate than that.
It would be, I just feel like it would come off like in the face, like, hey, we support gay people. We support it. But even though that you have a character that is lesbian, so it just wouldn't make any. I feel like it would be a little bit too
On
much
the
in your
nose,
face. Yeah.
But a lot of shows are doing that now, so it might be believable. The thinking cap.
Yeah, if you do it right, it's fine.
Yeah. Let's talk about Steve. I
I really
was
like
actually
Steve.
very bummed out that he did not die. And
I
here's
mean,
what-
like, I didn't want him to die, but if you're gonna do it, that would be big balls to do it, and I would praise you for it.
yeah.
But
it's
at
done
the
right.
yes, like
And they usually kill characters off amazing. Like, Billy's death. Bob that was a bummer, but they did it very well.
Yeah.
Eddie's death, I was bummed that was Eddie.
I was pissed. I was honestly pissed off with it.
I mean, I didn't really like Eddie was a good character, but I'm like, how much more meaningful would that have been if it was Steve?
Like, I think it would
and
make more
sometimes
sense. I think it makes more sense if it was Steve, because he still likes Nancy and he knows he can't be with her because she cares about
Yeah,
Jonathan, and like
exactly.
and so
He
it's like
feels cornered. Yep.
and so it's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself for the girl that I care about, but I know that I can't be with.
Yeah. And I love that. And I think that sometimes a great character death makes that character all the better.
Mhm.
And just you go back and rewatch those seasons and you just appreciate him so much more because of that sacrifice he made, and you're just even more emotional. But I feel like this season, like, they just copped out because they know everyone loves Steve. They don't want to kill him because we want him in the next season. But I think that
They're afraid to kill anyone off. They couldn't kill Max.
You're right. They're so
Max is a season 2 character. Is she a season 2 character or season 3? Okay.
2, yeah. You're right. They're so scared to kill off old characters and OGs that they create new characters just to kill off. Bob, Billy, Eddie.
Yeah. And the only movies that are like, only thing that I can come to my mind that's like had no problem killing characters off, it was Aliens 3. It's like, yeah, you guys like those characters, didn't you? Well, they're dead now. Big deal.
If you like shows that have balls and kill off main characters, you should watch Game of Thrones.
I've tried multiple times to get into Game of Thrones. I just have not had the chance to fully sit down and watch it.
Speaking of high quality shows, I'm halfway through Better Call Saul season 2.
Oh,
it's getting pretty good. That's a side tangent though.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Let's see. One thing that you really liked was the Russian stuff. What's like on your mind for that?
Yeah, I thought that was really well done.
Even like the obvious part where they were going to get portrayed by the pilot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, some of it was just
very convenient.
Yeah, and at first watching it, I felt,
oh okay. Yeah, I have the bolt. Yeah, you guys didn't check to see if I was actually messing with it, right?
Yeah, at first that plot felt like, oh my gosh, okay, we could just cut down the screen time, just let's just try to get them back to Hawkins so we don't have to worry about this whole thing.
Honestly, that's what I thought they were going to do, but then it kind of drags out a little bit too long.
And then you find out like, oh shoot, they're probably going to try and help them there. Same thing the kids try and do when they're in California or Utah, where Nevada, I think, by Vegas, when they rescue 11 and then put her in the salt bath at the pizza place. But I do think obviously the strongest subplot, which is what Stranger Things thrives with, is having different little plots with different characters, with the different stories that meet up in the end, was obviously the kids and Hawkins. That always is the best
Mhm.
when it's revolving around the kids. And I am interested in this final season because now it seems like they're all together again, which is something we haven't had in a long, long time.
Yeah, since
Do.
like season 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it, just realizing like they're not gonna like. Sorry, I thought I know I'm backtracking, but they original. You know what, never mind. I'm just gonna let it go. But so yeah, I'm trying to think of so I lost my complete thought of track that I was going to go with.
Let's talk about the finale and Max's death and the portals opening. That
But she didn't die. She's in a coma.
exactly. That's why I'm like, okay.
It's
So
very convenient that this time when he's doing it, it takes longer, even though previously that we see him kill
yeah.
3 other people like that, no problem.
Yeah, no, it's just plot.
I think he's supposed to be like Pennywise in some way, where he's supposed to like, you know, the more fear, it's better for him, or something on
Yeah.
those lines. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I will say with the finale, building up to it, right when they, 11 pops in, saves the day, and um then the kids are throwing like those bombs at Vecna, and then he's burning up, and then he's trying to get Max, and then he like breaks her legs and her arms, but then she like falls down before he can do anything else, and then he like burns outside. You're like, oh, okay, that was the most anticlimactic finale ever. They really just won like that. And then like,
They
she
were
has
also
that
teasing that we don't have 11's powers, and that this is completely different, that and your friends have no chance. But they win with no problem.
yeah.
It's like I'm
Um
fine with them winning, but there has to be some stake besides Eddie's death
yeah.
that
And
has
I
no effect at all.
and I felt like, okay, they just killed Vecna, or he's burning and he's severely injured, and Max didn't die, so okay, not game over, and that was extremely anticlimactic. But then she has that sweet moment with Lucas and actually dies, and you're like, the cracks start forming because it's you need the
Oh
4
yeah.
portals or whatever to open it, and I'm like, oh crap, this is awesome. They're gonna lose, and that's what I wanted. And then like 11 has force healing abilities now, apparently.
Yeah.
Um, and she comes back to life even though she broke every bone in her limbs. Um, yeah, I have severe gripes on how they finished that. Just no
I
cojones.
guarantee what they're gonna do, but there was stakes. She's blind now. Who cares? She's not dead. Like anyone could be like, "Yeah, I'm thankful for being alive, even though I can't see."
Yeah, 11 really just saved her from dying. Instead, now she's just a potato.
I don't. I really don't like 11. I mean, like her character is also never, especially more. Mi- I keep forgetting her name. Millie Bobby Brown. Her acting has never once improved throughout this show. She's always been the stale one face, and yeah, every once in a while she has an emotional scene, but it's like, why can't we not have more of that? Like, why
Yeah.
can't we have
I
like a little bit more emotion out of her? Why? Because like, see, all right, I'm fine with season 1 and season 2 of her not sort of having emotions because she's still evolving in some form. But in season 3, you kind of see that she's like a little bit different. But then it just goes back into season 4 where like, I'm being bullied. I don't know what to do about it. And she tries to use her powers for no reason, even though she knows that she doesn't have any powers. It doesn't make any sense for her to do that. And so
yeah.
it's just supposed to like, oh, she's having a hard time, even though it's like we get that she's having a hard time, but she's been through this multiple times, and
Yeah.
she has people that really cares about her, but she thinks that no one cares about.
Yeah. I do think that I to be honest, I think her character was awesome 1 through 3. Especially how connected she was to the Upside Down. And this kind of felt like, even though it was explaining, how the main villain got to the Upside Down was because of her, she just, she's disconnected from that plot. I think that's important that she's at the center. Here's one thing that I've always wondered. It's kind of a theory. Do you think that 11, now that we kind of know that she sent him into this realm, and she didn't necessarily create the Upside Down, but sent him there, Vecna Henry number 0 or 1 or whatever, do you think that he actually had, that was actually his imagination that she just sent him into, and basically created a totally different world out of his imagination? Because I say that, because right as he's explaining that, how I became an explorer, blah, 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 this new place, before he met the Mind Flayer, before he went, as a kid, you see him drawing the Mind Flayer as a child. So that scene like makes my head tilt, because I'm like, how did he know what the Mind Flayer was if he hasn't gone to this Upside Down realm yet? Maybe he's had visions of it as a kid. I'm thinking like, or what if like the Upside Down was his imagination that created this new reality? There's just a lot of questions that I'm not so sure that will ever get answered. Or if we do, it'll be 3 years from now when we have the next president.
Yeah, I kind of lost. I honestly don't know how to even comprehend whatever just happened. So I'm just gonna not even bother thinking about it, because that's just gonna make my brain hurt. It's like it's like Interstellar. It's like I'm trying to think of like, how does this exist in a black hole type of. I don't.
Yeah.
All right. And enough of that.
Sorry.
So, but yeah, I don't know. That's now thinking about it. This is kind of like a bad season. Like at first I was like, all right, this is fine, but now it's like,
well, I think we do kind of need to lower our standards, because season 1 was literally top
people
tier.
get mad at me when I say, hey, this isn't good. So lighten up a little. Like literally, I literally got talked well, not talked trash to, but I kind of like got said like, well, you need to lighten up, because I saw a movie with a friend called Ambulance with Jake Gyllenhaal, and I came out not liking it because of how and it's like, it's not because it was stupid, because it's how it was presently stupid, where the cop cars constantly run into into civilian cars. I'm like, you're just making the cops look fucking stupid. And so, but yeah, and and I said, all right, I'll start trying to lighten up on things, and that's kind of where we're falling into, where I'm like, I should not be doing this, because I'm coming up disappointed. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the finale that much, honestly. I honestly kind of forgot about it. It just kind of came and go.
I will say, I think the use of music was fantastic. They haven't really introduced any new themes, but they've reused a lot of the old ones. However, the scene where Eddie's playing the electric guitar in the Upside Down, I think we can all agree was a fantastic moment.
It was pretty cool.
Really.
I did like the scene with the dad and Dusty. I did like that.
Yeah.
I think that was like a good scene from the actor as well. I think he pulled it off pretty well. The one thing that we haven't seen was a lot of these actors in other projects. The only one that we saw from other projects was Mike and Hopper. And so
Will was in a Netflix Halloween movie, the actor for Will Byers. But
Will hasn't got to do a lot after season 1. He's kind of just been there and just kind of left in the background.
You forget season 2, he was the most important.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
The Mind Flayer was inside his body.
But he was off screen having that problem
in season 2.
Yeah.
No, he was on screen. Remember
Well,
it?
well, he was on
Mike
screen,
is the one.
but he was on
Mike
screen,
is the one.
but he had less screen time than everyone.
He might have. But I mean, definitely more than season one. Season one, you only see him in the beginning and the end. Because he disappeared in the Upside Down. But yeah, I will say I think we can all agree that Mike is just the absolute worst character ever.
I stopped caring.
Yeah.
He's all about me.
Mhm.
Ooh, but
Or 11, 11, 11.
Yeah.
But when 11 disappears, it's all about Will and helping Will and the Mind Flayer in season 2. But then when 11's back, Will doesn't exist in season 3, and he even has that scene where he destroys Castle Byers because he's so upset that Mike won't let him kiss him because he just wants to land a fat one on those lips.
I mean, it's sure. I mean, these are also underage kids that we're talking about here. You can't be saying stuff like that. Well, they're actually over the age of 18, but the characters
Yeah,
are.
but I mean, you can't tell me you don't think that that's a possibility.
It just wouldn't make any sense. Maybe have him go for Dusty, but no teeth. That, which I shouldn't say that because that's actually the actor's real condition. He has problems, like he has like a condition where he can't. I forget. I don't know the condition, but he has something with his teeth. But so yeah, this is a little. I was trying to make this more positive than Kenobi because Kenobi was very sad, and now it's just like I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I mean, it was Stranger Things, and we
Yeah.
got another season of it, and
Do
we
you
can have all the
do
gripes
you-
we want, but
Yeah,
it was awesome and fun.
do you like how long the season was, or do you like the episodes were, or do you think they could just made more episodes out of instead of making them longer?
I like the idea that the finale felt like a movie.
I was like, oh yeah. When I looked at it, I was
very,
like, this
very
is 2.5 hours long. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was very, very long. I don't know. Like generally, I would prefer more screen time. Generally, I would like to see more. But when you start showing stuff that's just boring and you'd want to fast forward,
Like the 11
then
stuff, yeah.
and that's when you hit okay. Then maybe more screen time is not actually always good.
I feel like they should have saved all that 11 stuff of like her trying to get her powers for the next season and have her not have powers and go up against something without her powers. Like how cool. I
Yeah.
think that would have been a little bit more. And it's like, okay, then we have people die. It's like, all right, I got to get my and that's the focal point of the next season is her trying to get her powers back so then she doesn't lose any more friends.
Yeah.
I
I
think that would
mean,
have
if
been
they did that, the finale for this, they would have lost, total like 1000%.
not really.
I mean, without 11,
I mean,
they had already lost.
I mean, I guess so because they did.
It was basically a suicide mission that
I mean, they were technically going to lose. I mean, like that's like, oh, they won with no problem, but I guess they technically did lose if Leffen didn't show up because Steve and Nancy and Robbie got captured and all that. But the tension just wasn't there. I knew that no one was gonna die.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's the writing or what.
Yeah.
I just knew that no one was going to die. I
Yeah.
thought maybe if anyone, it was going to be the pizza guy that was going to die. He's going to die in a
Yeah.
car accident for being
And
high.
I mean, we have reason to believe that because they killed off Hopper in season 3, and then they released a little.
They put him in the trailer.
Yeah, it was like a little trailer for season 4, and he's alive. So you're like, what?
Why
and
would
then,
you put that in the trailer?
And
It's
in the finale, you're like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna die, but obviously not because they just
bring him
technically-
back. Yeah, it's like, well, we made this whole entire rescue mission to save him.
And I do think I think we have less than a minute left. So
Okay.
in the Zoom recording.
So what's your rating for this season?
Rating, I would give it, I would say a 7.2 out of 10.
Okay. I'm on the same lines. I'm gonna give it
72%.
a C plus. I think this is fine for what it is, but it is definitely way too long. Even though I do like that they make long episodes, but they kind of went a little bit way too far with
the content that they
I-
filled that in.
This was like
Yeah.
20 hours worth of like, all right, recording stopped, so it cut me off. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't even remember where I was going with that. But so yeah, I think it was a fine season. There was just, I think that when you start thinking about it more, there was definitely stuff that it's just when I don't know. People are getting frustrated that I don't even love Minions, even though I say that Despicable Me is better than them. But yeah,
Wait, you don't like Minions?
I think it's okay.
Oh, Austin. I suppose you don't like Morbius as well.
Does anyone?
I do.
Oh,
It's awesome.
okay.
It's a beautiful, beautiful archetype story of
Be-
this character.
Be ready for the sequel then.
It's Corbin time.
I swear if that's real.
Those memes got a little cringy, and they definitely thought that we were actually excited about it and did not.
And released the movie, and next it did even worse than its first release.
I actually watched it with a friend when it was re-released. Sadly.
You ready for the Spider-Man extended cut?
Oh my gosh. I hate when they do that. They did that with Endgame too.
No, well, they did it with Avatar. Avatar's like, oh, Endgame's #1 movie. Fuck that. I'm gonna release mine. Fucking James Cameron, fuck you. Stupid ass.
Now Morbius beat them all out. #1 box office international, baby.
Oh yeah, of being bombed for sure. Yeah. It's definitely #1 there. But yeah.
Yeah, Stranger Things overall.
Netflix has been going downhill anyways. Their movies haven't been that good. I heard that Hustle was pretty good though.
I haven't seen that.
But yeah. I highly maybe just like wait until all the seasons are out, then just then binge them. I mean, yeah, that's anyway. Anyway, thank you guys very much for being here. Thank you for Ryan. This is definitely a lot longer than I planned on to record, but gonna have fun editing to make sure that it's like to the audience liking and not always an hour long whenever I have someone on, because it always turns out that way for some reason. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye guys.
Adios.